Turning Point USA is branding Arizona Republican lawmakers as either patriots or traitors. No one is safe there. There are losers and winners. And today I'm speaking with my colleague, Lori Roberts, who wrote about this. So tell me, who's Turning Point USA? Who are these people and who are the winners and losers of this legislative session?
Very few winners, lots and lots of losers. Turning Point USA is an Arizona-based national group. It started as a group of young college conservatives, primarily Christian men, a dozen years ago, and it has grown and morphed into this national organization that is one of the dominant forces in Republican Party politics. It is because of Turning Point, many would argue, that Trump took Arizona in 2024 and that the Republican Party was able to hang on to control of the legislature. So a very influential group and very important in this state and in this country. They put out their annual scoreboard a week or two ago, in which they really trashed a lot of Republicans. In fact,
most of them, right?
Well, all but three, in fact. There are 50 Republicans in the Arizona legislature. 3 of them earned Turning Point's designation as patriots. The others were all ranged from people who are losing patriotism down to the Democrats, who were considered tyrants. But as for Republicans, it went from losing patriotism all the way down to betraying America. Now, these are all conservative Republicans. I don't think that there's a moderate Republican in the Arizona legislature, and yet this just tells you how extreme and hardcore Turning Point is, that only 3 of the Arizona legislative Republicans meet with their approval.
And who are those 3?
Jake Hoffman, number 1, chairman of the Arizona Freedom Caucus, which is a hard right group of conservatives, and his vice chairman, who is Representative Joseph Chaplick of Scottsdale, along with his seatmate Alexander Colodin. Those were the 3 who are considered patriots.
So what is it that they end up doing to get that designation, and what is it that the rest of the Republicans didn't do to be labeled traitors?
Well, I think, they weren't all labeled traitors. They were labeled, 4 of them were labeled as betraying America. I mean, I think a lot of them would have that same question. They were evaluated on, I think, 6 or 7 different areas, such as border security, American culture,
right.
And I mean, it's a variety of things. I think what they're looking for is people who will do exactly as they want them to do and never deviate. You see that in Congress as well, where during the confirmation process, Charlie Kirk, who is the head of Turning Point, was practically threatening to senators, saying, you better get on board with these confirmations of some of the more controversial appointments, or we'll primary you.
Right. Right. And so if a senator, for instance, is able to score 75% of their metrics that they were using, yet still labeled a loser, what does that say about the purity test, about not being MAGA enough, essentially?
It says that the party of the big tent is no more. We are a big tent of people who all march in lockstep. It's always been there's always been a battle between moderates and conservatives in the legislature, and in the party in general, but it's no longer that, because the moderates are all long gone. This is a battle between traditional business-oriented Republicans and the culture warriors who are on the far right, and if you don't get with them, they're pretty much saying, we can primary you. All of you Republicans who mostly are in safe Republican districts and you don't have competition, we can come after you.
And how far do you think these lawmakers or the Republican lawmakers will go to remain in their good graces and not being primary?
Well, some of them will go all the way. Some of them will be infuriated by being called erratic. I mean, can you imagine anybody saying that Wendy Rogers is, quote, losing patriotism? She must have just lost, fainted in a dead heap right there. But I think some of them will get in line and do what Turning Point expects them to do. Others have shown, I guess we call it bravery anymore, to say that you will compromise with Democrats in a divided government. But I think Turning Point scares the pants off of every one of them, because it's a big organization and they get people out to vote, and they've organized young conservatives, and that's the future of the party.
That's all the time that we have. If you want more columns or opinions, you can go to azcentral.com.